on this computer and set my view up this way. What's up, everybody? Welcome to, I guess I'll say, one of our first expert calls for this incredible community. We have a few guests joining us this week, so if you're a guest, welcome. Excited to have you here and checking some things out. And if you're one of the Go Big to Give Big founding members, this is life. This is what we're going to be talking about all day. As we just finished hearing from Sammy about all the incredible things that he's doing for his nonprofit and charities. And what I'm really excited about is to bring in our guest expert today, Mark Fujiwara. I got connected to Mark probably 2 or 3 months ago, and it was an instant connection, an instant bromance, both heart-centric, both just so passionate about life and wanting to do some really cool things. And one of the things Mark helped me the most with was understanding how to get into flow state. And he's going to talk a little bit about that tonight. But he really helped me understand how I can live more in purpose, more in flow, less resistance, more fluidity. Everything just kind of works for me instead of against me. And it was some of the biggest changes I made in my overall life with some of the principles that he's going to talk about tonight. And he also taught it to a community that he runs. I'm a part of one of Mark's communities, which is a network of very high level, very visionary entrepreneurs. And so what you're going to get tonight is something that Mark taught to, I'll call them some of the top world changers that I know. So this isn't just a little kind of like fun thing. Mark runs a really incredible family practice where he works with a lot of business owners on selling their businesses, managing their finances, taking care of everything that you don't want to deal with, he deals with. So I don't want to take up too much time. I appreciate you all being on the call on time. That is something that is so special to me, and something that we're going to build as a practice for this community forever, is that when calls start at 4, we do our best to be on the call at 4 o'clock to respect our guests, to respect our time. We will end exactly at, well, I say 4 because I'm Pacific time, but 4 and 7, and we'll end directly an hour from now. So with that, Mark, I would love to welcome you to the stage. And guys, we can't clap here, but what we like to do is called happy hands. So if you guys could give me a little hands wave for welcoming Mark to the stage. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming out.
Oh, it's an honor. It's an honor. Thank you, Randy, and thank you, Kelly, for setting this up. And Randy alluded to flow, and I feel like flow is such an important part. And I think a lot of you may want big things from your life. A lot of you might want a fulfilled life, and whatever that means. I know for Sammy, it's helping as many baseball players with so much impact. I know for Randy, chief giving officer. So this is the way that companies run their business in terms of giving. For me, it's just when I realized that the importance of flow and surrounding myself with flow-like people, like all of you on this call, that led me to some great things. And it wasn't until like just about a year ago where I started to realize this. In this last year, I joined up with another team at Baird. We're the first family wealth family office team, soon to be probably in the next 2 to 3 years, going to be the top team serving high net worth families. I did a movie. I produced a movie on my struggles with depression, anxiety, and panic attacks about getting on stage, and set to do a TED Talk by the end of the year. Spoke in Oxford, spoke it in Long Island on the destigmatizing mental health. The list goes on and on. And thanks to Randy, I'm going to have my own charity very soon here. I first want to say this is that I'm on vacation right now. I'm on the Big Island of Hawaii. And, you know, it used to be where I would go on vacation and I would want to get away from the office per se. And it's like, oh, why are people, you know, why are these things popping up here and there? I can never get away. Then I found out like, well, now I can get away from everybody because I have this great team behind me. But it was like, why do I want to get away from some of these people? Like that was a signal. And that led me down the road to develop people in my free flow office, in my tribe, that I want to jump on these calls. I told my wife and I told my daughter, who's 4 years old, I said, I'm gonna leave here. It's about 1 o'clock here. I said, I gotta leave the beach and I'm gonna talk to these amazing people. Now that's what vacation is. Vacation is exactly what I want to do. And there's nothing more than what I'm doing right now, supporting Randy and supporting all of you. First leading off to here, I met you, Randy, 2 to 3 months ago, and I got to say, you're the epitome of someone that gives me flow. And I keep telling you this, man. Anytime I get a little voice memo from you or a video, that adds to my end of the day flow, which is the biggest thing with my daughter Stella, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. So first off, just you can just blurt out. Does anybody have a good description of what flow is? So just a few words. Anybody?
I'll start. Easy.
Yeah. Easy. Yes.
Being in the moment.
Being in the moment. Yes.
I've said it's not friction.
Oh, yes. Very good. No
Opposite.
resistance. Yeah.
Fluid.
Oh, yes.
Being present and engaged.
Oh, wonderful. So those are amazing, amazing descriptions. And obviously, because you've used these amazing words, being in the moment, which is a Japanese value of mine, Ichigo Ichie, which is the maximum appreciation, the uniqueness of the moment. These are things that we experience. There's so much research done on flow states. How if you want to make more money, you should be in flow. If you want more fulfilled life, you should be in flow. Better relationships are created by flow. Sometimes not directly on the relationship you're in terms of like Stella and I don't hang out till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm in my office most of the day, but the flow states that I get from people like yourself in this room make me in a maximum flow state with her. And so flow can mean so many different things. Think about it. The words that describe flow that you had said right here. Flow could be something along the lines where you just came back from a nice run, right? And the sky is bright, or a meditation, or hanging out on the couch with your loved one, wrapped around with your arm around her, watching a crazy Netflix series. It's playing with your children. It's being in a business meeting where the two of you are so well connected. There's so many different ways to get in flow. And what's magical about it is that the more you're in flow, the more it expands in your world and the more you can give to other people. Now, we've all been on that flip side, right? All been on the antithesis of flow, which is these unexplained periods or days where you're in a funk. It's hard to get out of that chair. It's hard to clear your mind. It's difficult to get upbeat. You try and try and try. I know I've been in it. Some of you may be in it maybe for the whole day, maybe for an hour. It's just unexplained. So this is where awareness is so key. Awareness is so key here because what I told Randy, and I love Randy, I love you, Randy, because I told you to do this. And then like the next day, you're like, whoa, this really works, right? And it doesn't take that long. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to take anything. It could be a notebook. It can be a spreadsheet. It could be the back of your hand. It doesn't matter. Every 15 minutes, and do this for a couple of days. Do it for 5 days, or do it for every single day since I told someone like Randy to do it. I want you to write 3 things for every 15 minutes. And if every 15 minutes is like too much, do it every hour. Just do it. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to write what you're doing, who you're doing it with, and what your energy level is. Now you could go 1 through 10. I like to use Jim Collins taught me this method, which is +2, +1, 0, -1, -2. That is your energy level. So +2, you're in flow. -2 is the antithesis where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in this funk. Now, what happens from here is that you will start to get clues. Now, I want you to do this as quick as possible because I made the mistake when I started doing this, where I'm on the phone or I'm in a meeting with a client that's paying me a lot of money, and it's like I'm talking to this person, and I get to the number part, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I want to go to sleep. But he pays me a lot of money. Okay, it's a +2. So I want just no hesitation, what you're doing, who you're doing with, and +2 to -2. And by the way, this is like +3 right now. I'm telling you, Stella and Amy and my whole family over there, thank you for that. So what this will do though is it'll give you clues, and it gave me clues too on these unexplained -2s that happen. These unexplained -2s happen. Usually you can go back and sometimes it's not in that moment. Sometimes it's after the fact. Somebody says things, maybe it's a, I've dealt with these types of individuals before. The covert narcissist makes a little backhanded compliment. You think it's a compliment, but you just feel like garbage. So follow those clues and start to evaluate. I did, and it was very quick on who I needed to get out of here. I don't care if it's a partnership that got me a lot of revenue. They have to go, because here's the reason why in my life. At 5 o'clock every day, I have 2 moments with my daughter. One, when she gets up, I hang out with her while Amy goes works out, and then it's down to my office. Right at 5 o'clock on the nose, I go upstairs, and it's just me and Stella. Amy's cooking an amazing meal. For an hour, it's just me and her. Now, what happens if I'm not in flow? If I'm in that funk? And it's happened before, those unexplained funks. She looks at me and says, "Daddy, why is that a fake smile on your face? That breaks my heart." Or she says, "Why are you not paying attention?" When I'm looking straight into her eyes. And yes, I'm not paying attention. Some -2 affected me maybe at the beginning of the day. But I like to share with you the moments that just warm my heart, which is the days that I get to hang out with Randy, the days that I get to hang out with my mastermind group, Epic Network. Today, I know for sure here. Stella and I have this amazing connection. So she can be doing something across the room, and she can have her back to me. This is when I know I've had those +2s. I'm in flow, no doubt. She's doing something across the room, and I'm just feeling just super present in the moment, 100%. And I'm sending her love and energy, and you can almost see that energy coming full circle in this room. She will literally jump, do a 180, run over to me, and she's not a big hugger, give me a big hug, kiss on the cheek, and just say, "I love you so much, Daddy," and go back to what she was doing. So that's why flow is important. And again, flow can get you amazing results, whatever results that you mean. And it's so important. It's so important because the who you're doing it with is more important than the what. The who can affect your flow far and away more than the what. So when you're doing this awareness and you're seeing some of these trends, then you start to evaluate. Because in my world, it's all about, as Randy and I talk about this all the time, right? It's about character, alignment, and that's how we put the Brepic Network together. By the way, I told you this. You're my avatar, Randy. It's high character, high alignment. Who can I root for? And who roots for me just as hard? That's Randy all the way. Okay, so next, so you got all this flow. Now, how do we really fast track this? Well, a couple of things. We can jump into a room like this, and please invite me to any of these meetings, by the way, because I feel so much energy right now. I also have developed Brepic Network, which is a group just like this. We meet once a month, and it's just like, what happens when you are in the presence of other people that are rooting for you is that your mind opens up. I was on a call with another mastermind group, everybody aligned, high character, everybody rooting for me. This guy named Seth Godin, who I know, he's talking about the same old Seth Godin stuff. And all of a sudden, because I'm in this energy, I start to realize I can apply this at such a deeper level. You start to figure out problems that you never ever thought there were solutions to. It's so magical. It is so magical. Here's the other thing that I've done. Over the last 30 years, I've been in the private wealth business. The private wealth business is very low on value in terms of what they give to the client. So I realized the beauty of having the right people around you. I can't do it all. I have one unique ability. My unique ability is to figure out talent, to build a team, and to do amazing results. That's it. And so I need someone to do tax and M&A and investment banking, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And here's the thing. Every time I have a client that has a need that I did not facilitate with one of my people, I will fill it. And unfortunately, I had a client that that passed away 6 months after he sold his business that lasts for more than could last for more than 2 generations. I didn't have private medical. So just the way that our worlds work, the universe works in our favor. A month later, I got in a mastermind group. The top private medical team was right there. We could be instant friends, private medical coaches, chief giving officers, any result that you want. Now, here it is, though. You have to focus on character alignment first. I did it the hard way and said, "Ooh, that guy's with a fancy law firm, and he's going to make me look good." It doesn't work out if they're not high character, high alignment. It will end up not working. And here's the other thing. What happens when you surround yourself with character and alignment people, the people you serve are the same people. They will come to you. They will get introduced to you by these people. Okay, so now, how do you develop this? How do you get, 10, 100 people? Here's the thing. In Brepic Network, we teach it over a 12-month course. However, right now, I can do it very, very quickly. There's a fast track to this. And I want to let you in on this. So let's say you're building your team, whatever industry there is, or better yet, a team that can do a lot of results for the people that you care about. There's at least one person. There's at least one person in your network who is high character and high alignment that knows a few people. And this is the way I started fast tracking people. I started to realize, whoa, that person is a high character, high alignment person that I can really root for. And he or she is an expert in what they do. Now, here's the beauty of that. And I want to use you as an example, Randy. So when you have that individual, so if it's Randy, I got to tell you, Randy is absolutely high character, high alignment. I root for him. He roots for me. Here's the other thing, though. He is probably one of the best connectors I know. And I know a lot of good connectors. And why is that? Well, because he only hangs out with high character and high alignment people that do great things. Okay, here's the thing. If I ask Randy something, hey, Randy, get from point A to point B, who do I use? And he says he's going to give me 2 answers. 1, oh my gosh, I have somebody for you. Or 2, I don't know, but that person can point you in the right direction. Now, if it's somebody that he has that can go from point A to point B for me, Randy might give me a list of all the great things about them, their LinkedIn profile, and this and that, but all I need is the name, because I know they're going to get me results. They're going to get me the high character, high alignment. You get a Randy and you start to build around that. Randy's not going to just get you one. He's going to get you multiple. You fast track the people you hang out with. And by the way, I love how Randy introduces me. It is so exciting when I get an introduction, because he will do it through text, and sometimes he puts himself on video, and it's just like, I can't wait. There's a couple people I can't wait to get back home to me. But that's the way you fast track this. Now, there might be a situation where you're trying to build a company, because we talked about, this is better than resumes, right, Randy? Where, you get the resumes and you're looking for a CEO, or you're looking for anybody, you're looking for an assistant. It doesn't matter. And you're flipping through the resumes as, Ivy League, not Ivy League, worked hard, doesn't work hard, whatever. And it's hard to figure out on a resume. But here's the thing. If Randy says, if Randy type says, oh, this person, you got to talk to this person. So I know for a fact that person is going to work hard for me. It might not be the COO. But I want them in my company. I want to find a way to get them in my company. So when you start to surround yourself with the high character, high alignment people, they will work hard for you. They will work tooth and nail for you. That is so much better than an Ivy League education. Great, if they're from an Ivy League, that's fine, but it means so much more to me than who's referring me. And are they high character, high alignment? And are they willing, are they going to root for this team like they root for themselves and vice versa?
Oh, Mark, I'm going to step in for 1 sec because that is so much
Yeah, man.
gold to unpack and work with here. You guys will see as I do expert calls, I like to step in, unpack a little bit, clean things up because I know exactly how
bud.
to repeat this for my community. I wanted to share how this impacted me. Guys, I took this phone call, exactly what Mark just shared with you guys, he shared with me. And I said, this makes sense. Every call that I'm going to do from now on out or any activity on my list, I'm going to rate it -2, -1, 0, +1, +2. I just went through, I found everything that was +2s and was like, this is stuff I want to do every day. Circled it, +2s, conversations, +2s. Anything that was -1 or -2, I said, these are the things I don't want to do. And so I started outsourcing them or just removing them from my life. People that I was in business with might not be in business with me anymore because we just didn't have, I didn't get the +2s from it. Opportunities that came across my plate, gut check, is that a -2, -1, +1, +2? And I just feel how I felt after those phone calls. And then that's how I started getting aligned to +2 people. +2 people introduce +2 people because we're all of the same character and alignment. So now that's what Mark said, is that's how you build your community, is you only talk to people that are +2s now. And I know that because Derek on this call is another example. I shared this with him, got him into some visionary conversations. And I'm like, Derek, only talk to +2 people. And now his world is like, he's like, dude, this is a whole different world. These people want to make introductions. They care about me. They believe in my product. These other people that are -1s and -2s, I reach out to them. They might take a month to get back to me. They don't care about some of the stuff I'm offering. People that I don't even know that I'm pitching stuff to are like, oh my God, how can I help and what can I do? So that's what all this is about. So it doesn't matter if you're building a 8-figure business or you're just in a job. If it is not serving you and it's a -2 every day, think of how you come home and how that -2 impacts your family. When you are a -2 and you show up at home, you're a -2 for your family. When you're a +2, like Mark and I in these conversations, when you get home, you're a +2 for your family. And now you can show up as the person you want for your family. So something to think about there in that context. I just framed that in a similar way of how I've used it. Now my fiance knows exactly how my days have gone. If I show up and I'm like, not 100%, she's like, who'd you talk to today that didn't serve you? What did you do today that didn't serve you? She doesn't even, she just knows, right? Same with Stella for you. It's like, they just know. But when I'm a +2, I come in, I'm like, what's up, Samantha? Get in here. Give me a hug. Give me a kiss. Like, life's great. She's like, oh, you had some good conversations today. And that's just life. And if you have more +2s, your life is going to be a lot better. That's what I wanted to frame for everybody here. And just have Mark come in and explain to you, is that it doesn't matter what you're building. It doesn't matter what business. It doesn't matter what industry. Just start doing stuff that is simply a +2 in your life, and your life will get a lot better.
Amazing.
That's amazing, dude. I want to, you can dive deeper into that, but I also want to make sure we leave time to talk about some of the stuff you went through with your charity decisions and stuff like that. So I don't know what you had visioned here. We can stay on this for a few minutes, but I want to make sure we leave time for that.
No, this is perfect segue. And thanks to you, Randy, you really just opened up what I really want to achieve out of this. So my cause is mental health. 32 years ago, I had a cousin. I'm an only child. I have a lot of cousins, and this is the cousin that I consider my little brother. I was 21 years old. He's 15. And he died from gunshot wound, self-inflicted, died from suicide. And I told my dad that day that, because my dad told me to find the good in this. You know, he wanted to flip it around and just say, this sucks. You can grieve every freaking day for the rest of your life, but I want you to find the good in this. And I kept searching and searching. And then it came to me not too long ago that I also had mental health struggles. I thought about suicide. When Carson died, I knew why he did it. Nobody else did, but I knew why he did it. I had panic attacks so bad that I would avoid getting on stage. I would avoid talking. I had a panic attack so bad that I almost passed out in front of a group of 13 and 14-year-olds talking about my career. It got so bad that it was just spiraling out of control. And the best thing for that is what Randy and I were talking about in terms of charities that bring out destigmatizing mental health. And that is my personal goal. My personal goal is that we can talk about mental health symptoms and struggles just like we talk about sneezes and coughs from the common cold. And this is something that immensely helped me, that no drug, no therapy is better than opening up about your mental health struggles. Because for 47 years, because we're in a society, well, I grew up in a society that you never talked about. I grew up in a culture from Japanese and Chinese standpoint. You do not talk about struggles. You do not talk about weakness. You certainly don't talk about things that are made up in your head, quote, unquote. Now, I did this amazing thing, went outside my comfort zone for 100 days, and this was on the heels of planning out my suicide. On the 97th day, I called my cousin Gail and told her that, and she was the first person I ever told in my 47 years on this planet that I had anxiety, I had depression, I had suicidal thoughts, I had panic attacks so bad that it was debilitating. I had addiction. For a short while there, I had some addictions that I had to deal with in college. And she paused for a long time and she thanked me and she shook a pill. She took like a bottle of pills and she says, "This is my anti-anxiety medication. You can hear it. I take it with me all the time." Now, Gail is like the Chinese Oprah. She's like the strongest person I know, right? And here she is. She's got depression. She got everything I did. She's got everything I did. And what happened from there, it's like, I can't wait to share. Clients used to ask me, what's my cause? I said, oh, there are a bunch of stuff. I never said mental health. I've donated thousands and thousands of American Foundation Suicide Prevention, National Association of Mental Illness. And I never, ever told people because I thought I was afraid. I was shameful. And finally, I remember a client asked me and I said, mental health. And you know what? He opened up more. He opened up to the point that it allowed me to do such a better job because I realized why he needed the money. He said, well, I need the money because I'm worried about my brother who also has mental health struggles. So we changed the plan around it based on the fact that I opened up. This is great, I said. And so that's what I want to do. And it's the charity's name is To Write Love on Her Arms. Now, this was started back in the MySpace days. And some of the younger folks on here said, what the heck is MySpace? I just think Facebook that could have been. But this was started by a young woman. And it was really about developing community to talk about mental health. And this is all about bridging the gap from where I was. Shameful, guilt, something's wrong with me, loneliness about mental health, to having a community. To having a community where you have the confidence and you have the permission to talk about this stuff with people around you. So they're bridging this gap in amazing ways. They're utilizing musicians like Miley Cyrus to raise money. And where does this money go? So I'm a big believer in what AFSP does, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention does. However, I think we need to do a better job when it's time that somebody needs the right kind of care, when somebody can't afford it. Because I know plenty of examples where if the family could afford it, or this individual had the permission to share these thoughts, they'd be around here. Now, suicide does not only affected me with Carson. One of my good friends, her 14-year-old son, bullied at school, hung himself. I have a good friend, unexplained. Again, never shared it with anyone. 5-year-old son, happily married, everything that you could want, great career, died from suicide out of the blue. The more we can do things like this and bridging the gap and bridging that gap, and we're getting there. We're getting there. And the utilization with amazing people out there, like your Mileys, like your Katy Perrys, like your Michael Phelps, those kind of Kevin Love, to bridge that gap so that we can have these conversations like this in the open. More importantly, we can have the younger generation, like my daughter or like my 2 older kids, talk about this stuff freely, and to have the ability to get the right kind of care. So thanks for allowing me to talk about this cause, which, man, 8 years ago, I've never pictured this before.
Man, a few things I'm going to unpack here, and love you to jump in where you are. But this is something that Mark brought to my attention when he said, "Hey, Randy," I said, like, what is the talk going to be? And talk about flow state's great, but what do you want to talk about the back half? He said, one of my biggest struggles was talking about mental health charities because people would ask me why, right? And instead of now looking at it as a problem and hiding from it, now he looks at an opportunity to share and build connection to the person that he's talking to. So in a business world, imagine what that does when we talk about know, like, and trust. When now Mark's working with a client and the client says, "Hey, Mark, what charity can I support for you?" And he says mental health because I've been through some stuff. That client has the opportunity to connect to Mark and meet on a different level and talk on a different space and build more rapport. So it's not just transactional anymore. It's humans in +2 conversations all the time. And so that's what I really wanted Mark to focus on today, was so that other people on this call might be going through some personal stuff and you don't feel like you want to donate or talk about the charity that you're going to. But look at the impact that Mark's going to have now with some of his most influential clients when he can talk about it, that if what Mark and I are going to create in a charity is going to be unheard of, we're going to do something nobody's seen before. It's going to be magical, and it's going to make waves in what we're able to create because he was able to step up and talk about it, and it put us in flow, and we're going to make massive impact. But if he didn't talk about it and he was so scared about it, nobody would know. And so that's what I wanted to encourage you all on here to do, is that talking about a charity and what you want to support doesn't provide vulnerability and weakness. It gives you the strength to go create support for yourself, to talk about it, to grow. So that's huge, Mark. We got 5 minutes, and then I want to open it up to Q&A, so people can ask you a few questions. We'd just love to hear now how those interactions are going with you after you overcame that. So picture somebody on this call sitting like, I don't want to talk about maybe sexual abuse or child sex trafficking or something because they've been through an experience. What's that first step for them when they're starting to feel like, I want to talk about this, tell people about it, but I don't know what to do?
That's a great question. So I feel like, you know, take a page from what I did. If you haven't shared this with somebody, start from somebody like, so I have 100 cousins, tons of aunts and uncles. I started at the person that I could trust the most. I started with the person that wouldn't judge me. So if you have that in your world, that's where you start. And what's interesting about this is whatever that is, that might be shameful to you, you will be so surprised, which I was, at how many people are touched by this.
Uh-oh. That Hawaiian Wi-Fi. I'll give him 1 sec to see if he comes back. And if he doesn't, I'll just keep rolling with it. I know he'll be back in a sec. But
Randy,
yeah,
if you want, I could add something on what Mark was just talking about
please do,
right
Kelly.
now. Just that it's so much more common. I'll share too, like many of you know on this call that I've known for a while, my mom died of suicide 15 years ago or so as well. And I remember she was 60 at the time. And I remember when we were at the funeral planning, the director told me the stat, and I can't remember it because I think I blocked it out, but the number of attempts that go through the hospital every single week is staggering. It's staggering. And now that we've been through COVID, it's even more. And so I'm just sharing that to let people know, like, the more people know that this is part of the human condition and the more we can talk about it, the less stigmatized everyone feels, the less isolated, the less like, oh my gosh, no one else could possibly feel this bad. Yes, we do, right? Like, yes, humanity comes with a lot of tough stuff. And so yeah, I'm just so supportive of what Mark is saying about speak up about it, because people need to hear that they're not alone, because they're really not. So
Yeah, and what I want to leave everyone on this call with is mental health and this suicide type conversation is one topic that we're talking about tonight that has a lot of influence. Insert whatever has you feeling uncomfortable, right? It can be whatever it is for you. Think of that situation and how you can use that to leverage, like Mark did and like Kelly's talking about, these opportunities. The whole concept that I wanted to get by you tonight was that if you feel nervous to talk about or suggest a charity to someone because it's so emotionally attached to you, there's some work that you can do there to allow yourself to be able to present yourself that way and show up for those people. I see Mark jumped back in now, which is which is great. So but that's what I really wanted to make that aware to you guys, is it doesn't matter what charity it is. If you feel your stomach sink when you want to recommend it, there's some support for you in whatever category it is, and then you can use that as leverage to start promoting and sharing and finding power in what you want to talk about, like Mark was just sharing, where he started with his family and then was able to build that power up. You start with one person and you start to build that power up, and then you can add those charities to your businesses or your life. And now think of how excited Mark's going to be when I say, hey, Mark, for every client you close, we're going to donate to this mental health charity we're going to create, and it's going to go change the world. You don't think he's going to be 10 times more motivated to go find some really big ballers that want to come in and support the organization and work with, because we can do that work? That's what it is. I see your back, Mark, so I'll let you close up what you wanted to, but I want to make sure we leave time for Q&A. So, 3-4 minutes here to let you close up on that statement you were at.
Yeah, real quick here about that. I feel like all of you on this call we're very similar in that we're givers, but we also have people around us where the important people around us will do something for them, will do something positive for them that helps them out. And they will say, what can I do in return? Or what can I do to help you? And a lot of times I'm sometimes at a loss for words. And now I'm not a loss for words, and actually I feel bad that I can't allow them to give something to me because I can't think of it on the spot. And I feel like having a charity, or, right now I have this charity. And now Randy and I are going to develop this charity where I've had people ask me that. And this will be such a great way for me to fill my heart up, to see them able to give to me, give to something that I believe in. Because we have those people. We have quite a bit of those people in our lives where we've done a lot for them because that's who we are. That's what we do. It's not to get back. This is like pure givers right here. But such a great way. This is why I'm so excited to work with you, Randy.
I'm so excited, bro. Look, I want to make sure we have some time for Q&A here, people. So first off, let's just give what we'll call some happy hands for Mark for delivering that incredible content for us, bro. That was amazing. And this is one of my favorite things, is I love to get to the Q&A. I love opening up and letting people ask their own questions, unmuting themselves, asking you directly one-to-one, to me, that's the best connection out there. So if you guys do have questions, just put in the chat that you have a question. I'll call on you. Maybe you can unmute yourself. And if not, I'm happy to ask your question if you just want to put it in the chat. So I'll start with Laura. If you're available, you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask your question. If I know she said she was might not have been available to ask. So I might just jump to Zahir. I know you had a similar question. So Zahir, are you good to ask your question?
Yeah. Thanks, Mark. Great chat. I think what you're doing is amazing, and what you shared, I know it's pretty hard to share that, and I appreciate that. My question is how do you deal with like negative twos if you have no choice but to be around them, like, you know, family, some friends, you know, colleagues, etc.?
Oh, you're on mute, Mark.
That
There we
is a
go.
great question. That was such a great question. So, I think you know, we're very empathetic here, and I'm very empathetic. I attract a lot of narcissists. So here's the thing: if you are in a square room, and someone hits you at the side of the head, then that's going to hurt. If you're in the square room and they say, "Hey, it's a boxing ring," then at least you're going to be able to block the punch. So here it is. It's all about awareness. Okay, so you have a -2. Don't be blindsided by them. Know that they're going to say these certain things. And the big thing I can tell you is that you have to deal with a coworker. You have to deal with a family. I have a bunch of narcissist family. If you have to deal with them, you have to deal with them. Know that any attacks, whether covert or direct, are a reflection of them, not you. Every time a narcissist or every time a -2 does something or says something or tries to create bad energy, I always say it's about them. It's about them, because the Randys of this world, the Kellys of this world, all y'all in this call of the world, that's something that will never ever happen. You guys are amazing people. You add to the energy. The -2s are taking away, and you can even think of that. This is the -2. So -2 is going to take away that energy because it's all about them. And if you want to talk more about this, because I feel like you're dealing with some of this stuff, I'd love to jam with you one-on-one, bro.
No, I appreciate that. It's sometimes hard. I find like you're stuck in the room with them, so you gotta just kind of take the punches and wait till they're gone, and they'll suck the energy out of you, and then
Okay.
later on you get back to the +2, hopefully.
Well, this might be something that might be up your alley, but I'm writing a screenplay actually, and on overcoming narcissists. And every time like a narcissist in my family or someone I have to deal with says something, I'm like, "Ooh, this is good. This is, you know, I got to write this down." Yeah, you know, you make a little fun there.
No, I gotcha. No, I appreciate it.
To tee on to Zahir's question there, Laura was just asking something like, and I'll reframe it for Laura, but how do you reset that energy? So you get that call, you try and block it, you know it's coming, you do that kind of stuff, but how do you reset that energy? So say, hey, there's a call that you've set, it's at, you know, 2 o'clock, right before you're heading back up to go meet Stella at the end of the day. How do you reset yourself so that you can be in a +2 state going back to life?
Great question, Laura. And that's something I'm putting together on the Breakfast Network, Randy, that I'll get that together once I share with you. There's about 25 different ways. One thing I'm going to tell you not to do: don't sit down. Don't stay still. Don't sit down, because your shoulders are going to get slumped. You're going to get in that state. The best thing you can do is jump out of your seat. Do something to move. You want that brain of yours, because what's happening when you're affected by the -2, you want blood flowing to that brain to wash this out, right? And it's not going to wash out if you just sit there or you just curl up in a ball. I know it's hard sometimes, especially the big -2s, but the best thing you could do is stand up, jump up, do a dance. I'll tell you my favorite thing, and it might not be available to you, or you could just jump in the shower. The best thing I can do is I jump in a cold tub of water, which I have outside my door. It's well worth the investment, by the way. I take 30 seconds to a minute right there. The blood is pumping the blood. And after that, I always feel back to normal. Always feel back to normal. But it could be some different things. Do some push-ups, do a dance, do a funky dance. But the main thing is get up, change that state.
I love that. My coach Trevor McGregor always says, "Change your state, change your mind." So if you're stuck in that -2,
Absolutely.
change your state, change your mind. If I know that I'm going to be in a
Yes, and deep
-2
breaths.
conversation, if I am going to be in a -2 conversation, I'll plan 30 minutes after that call to go walk my dog, to go play in the backyard, to go for a run. I'll try and time that call so it's not in the morning at 9 a.m. and ruins the rest of my day if I have back-to-back calls. So blocking and being prepared, but also making sure that you know that these calls are coming. If they do come, how do you handle it? And if it happens unexpectedly on a call, which again, try and not get connected to people that aren't +2s. And if that does happen, use those moments to practice some practices to reground yourself, like going for a quick walk or taking your next call as a phone call, but walking down the road or walking around your backyard
Yes.
instead of just sitting there on your computer. So that's how I combat some of my minuses that come. If I have a -2 call, next call, even if it's Zoom, I'll message them and say, "Hey, can we do it as a phone call?" And I'll just go outside, put my headphones in, and just do 5 laps around my yard and do something different. Change your state, change your mind.
I saw in the chat. By the way, I can't really see much of the chat, so I
I
apologize.
got you,
But
bro.
I did see deep rest. So there's that probably is even before you jump up. Do a 4-7-8, and if any of you know what that is inhale four counts, hold for 7, and breathe out for 8. It's a scientific method. Don't ask me how they figured this out, but that's the best way to calm things down and get your head straight.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and listen to a song that just warms your heart.
That's
Whatever that
awesome.
song is.
I saw Kathleen has a question, and I know Sammy has a question that probably will take us close to the end. If you have one more question, let me know and we can see if we can squeak it in. But Kathleen, you're up if you want to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hi, Mark, Randy. Thank you so much. I think it's so bizarre because just last night we have a family member who's suffering. I had no idea how bad it was, and now it's making me really nervous. I'm just curious, Mark, do you, along with supporting efforts for charities and communities like that, is there anything else that on your journey that really helped you get started towards something? But the other thing is, if we have a passion for a charity, do you have any recommendations, or Randy, on how to find something if you're not going to start it yourself? Because I want something really, really pointed and simple in order to give to. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Back up for a second. You said you had somebody over yesterday. What was going on?
Yeah, sorry, Mark, that was 2 questions. The first one was, yes, it's a family member suffering exactly like you're talking about, and I had no idea. She's young, she has a perfect life. What was your first step? Just talking to someone that you trusted, or because we can't figure out what to do for her?
So the first question I feel is, so the best thing is having her feel less lonely, okay, and having her trust. So if she confided in you, you just want to open up those lines of communication, and it's okay to ask her. It's a lot of people don't want to cross the boundaries. It's okay to ask her if she's suicidal, because that means you care. I also have, and this is not something you want to give to her, but it's more for the support people. I utilize this for one of my really good friends. He's international, but the point is that there's 26 different modalities that can bring me out of depression. You don't want to give all 26 to her, but this is a way, as you have more discussions with her. There's a lot, and +2, -1 is definitely on this list, but there's a lot of different ways where they're like these little things that she can do. But the big thing is I'd want to know, does she have care? Does she have somebody like a medical person that can oversee this? Kathleen, I would actually reach out to someone like a Dr. Carlin, because he has people on his team that can oversee a lot of this stuff. But you and I can talk more about this,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I'd love to support in any way I can.
Thank you.
One thing for me, it's funny, Mark sent me a voice memo just the other day and was like, hey, I just helped support a family where somebody was going through some pretty traumatic suicidal type stuff in this space. On the same day, I had a phone call with a guy that confided in me that he was going through some of the most mental challenges. And all I kept telling him was that I see you, I love you, and you're human. You're allowed to make
Yeah.
mistakes. You're allowed to have tough choices. You're okay. Nobody's here. So I just kept repeating that over and over and over again. I see you. I love you. You're human. You're allowed to have these thoughts. That's okay. It's normal. People go through stress. People go through pressure. And he just bawled for probably 30 minutes on our phone call. And all I kept saying was like, I love you, bro. I'm here. I don't judge you. Nobody's judging you. It's all in your, like, just trying to make him feel loved and supported. I see you. I love you. I'm here, and you're allowed to be human, right? Giving them permission to feel like sometimes they feel like they can't share. And that's what Mark shared a lot of, is that. So I just repeated that over and over and over again for basically 30 minutes. And after that call, he sent me 100 text messages saying like, I've never felt that supported. I've never felt that loved. I didn't know people actually believed in me. I didn't know people cared about me. And I just met that guy on that phone call. It wasn't like we were best friends. I literally got on a phone call with him because somebody made an intro for us for that reason. And he said, I've never felt so loved. And I literally just kept saying those words over and over again. So that's something that you can do for that person in whatever capacity you want, and just support them.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. What was part 2 of your question there, Kathleen? I want to make sure we addressed that.
I think you should go ahead and let the other question get asked, and I'll ask you later.
Awesome. Sounds good. Sammy, I know you had a question there, bro. Why don't you unmute yourself and give a little
Give it to you
share?
quick. Yeah, well, Mark, that's awesome. I think anyone that has the power to give your testimony like that is just, it's strength, right? It just, we're Randy, all of us, right? We are all in this flow state together. We're all in like high character, high alignment. And it's like, this is like a big ball of catalyst to like put that out into the world. So I would love to speak with you offline about how we can integrate something that you're doing within the veteran network, because I had those very same struggles. So we can be that veteran plug, and how you want to do that. I'm sure there's more people that could even want to like maybe team up on that. But I just want to just highlight 2 things. One, the power of Randy. Thank you, Randy, putting us, like, bridging us together like this. It's just, thank you. We're all here. And that goes to Randy, like, to me, like, you're kind of like this Margaret Reed. And if you don't know Margaret Reed, she actually said this quote, and I have it in my journal right here at the very front. And it says, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And that is how I've been living my life this past year. And to close out this year of having this book and this mastermind, I'm also in a coaching program with Coach T, is like, man, this is it. This is the group of thoughtful citizens. And the biggest thing that I think that we have here and that we're sharing is like, we're all grateful for our awareness, because it's that awareness piece that gives you the piece to like stop and slow down and apply these things. So I just, like, mad kudos to you, like, mad respect. Like, you're helping me. You're like, this is just so awesome. And, thank you so much for doing what you said, and good luck to you, man. Any way we can support, we're here for you.
Amazing,
Sammy, first of all, thank you for your service.
I'm going to let you close out here, Mark. So whatever you want to say to Sammy, and then just close out. And I just like to be pretty punctual. So we got 1 or 2 minutes here. So comment to Sammy and close us out.
Sammy, thank you for your service, and I cannot wait to hang out with you, bro. I just want to tell you how you all lit me up so much. I don't give +3s out just for anything. This is definitely a +3, and what a great way to share with my family as well. This is what I want to have them experience. This is what I want all 3 of my kids to experience. So thank you for being that bunch of avatars, and just appreciate all of you in this room. Again, you got, if you're in this room, don't say this all the time, but whatever you need, if you want to talk one-on-one about anything and you want to be confidential or whatever the case may be, I'm here to help. Once I get some of those tools that I mentioned to you, I'll get it over to Randy, and you can fire that off to everybody in the group.
Thank you so much, Mark. It means the world to me that you took this time to create a +2 moment or +3 moment that you can take back to your family now. And I believe you're going to show up as an even better human for your family after this call. And I just love that that's the concept you've created, even while you're on vacation. Is this isn't a work call. This is a +3 call to re-energize you to go hang out with your family again. So you haven't seen a lot of the comments, but a bunch of people in there thanking you, saying how great this was. It's been absolutely amazing for me, man. You're a rock star. Anyone that wants to get connected to Mark, I'm happy to make an intro. Find him on LinkedIn as well, and send him a DM and let him know how great this was, because I really enjoyed it. So I'll let you jump back to your family. Thank you, Mark. That's absolutely amazing, and I appreciate your time tonight.
Big love, guys. Thanks.
And thank you all for coming tonight. I really appreciate everybody being on this call, being punctual on time. I always like to end on time and start on time. So you guys commit to me for showing up on time, and I'll commit to you to making sure we end on time. That is one of the things that you will always see through any Go Big to Give Big call. For those of you that were guests tonight, man, if you didn't feel any love or connection tonight, you're in the wrong community anyways. If you felt this is the community that you want to be a part of, send me a DM. I want to get more and more people into this community. If you're in this community, let's just continue to grow it. It's only +2s in here. This is the family, friends that are family, that I always dreamed of creating. People that are world changers, but not in financials, but in heart. People that truly want to show up and serve the world, make impact, share stories, and do it while building businesses that can produce the revenue that make the change, right? The more money we make, the more Sammys we can help, the more Marks we can help, and people like that. So I appreciate you all. If there's ever anything you need, you can send me a DM on Facebook or anywhere. Most of you have my cell phone number, but just trust. And for those of you that are in the Facebook group, let's start sharing some of these +2 stories. Let's start sharing some of our lives. Let's build this connection. Let's build this community to just pour into each other, support each other, and create just the most loving community you've ever seen. So thank you all again so much for being here tonight. And thank you for the 3 minutes of grace long. Thank you, Mark. And I look forward to seeing you all in the very near future. For those of you that are in the community, we do have our next call, which is going to be September 7th at 8 a.m. Pacific, 8, 9, 10, 11 Eastern. So that'll be September 7th. That'll be a community call. That'll be us just getting together and sharing stories about what's going on in our lives. Everything that you saw in this last little bit of Q&A is what we'll do. We'll dive deep into some conversations and help some people out. So thank you again, guys. I love you all. I appreciate you. And I can't wait to see you all on September 7th. Have a great night, everybody.